Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Generally Irritable. I am super duper excited to have two of my favorite people on the show today, Mr. Bradford Broyles, and of course, my husband, Lord Violence.
Okay.
Say hello,
Pleasure
everybody.
to be here. Pleasure to be here.
Yay.
Great to be on Generally Irritable. Big fan.
Yeah.
Crowd goes crazy.
You know what?
Crowd goes crazy.
This is something I'm missing. I got to figure out if I can add like side effects and sound effects and stuff like that to the stream,
right.
and have like little sound bites I can play, like pew, pew,
yeah.
pew, like pew, pew, pew. Those things that are like.
Yes, like
Yeah, that's it. Okay, thank you.
I got you.
Oh my goodness.
Wow.
That too.
So, I advertised having just Brad on this evening, and when I was talking to Benjamin about it, he said, "I want to be on too."
Nice.
And
Awesome.
what we're focusing on tonight, what we're really talking about, ultimately, first of all, let me back up. I asked Brad to come on the show tonight to share his production company and the projects that he's been working on, the movies and things that he's put out. Because I really wanted to highlight someone fighting the culture war. We talk about it a lot. You'll hear it in podcasts. Politics is downstream from culture. And, if we as conservatives aren't creating content for the public to consume, to learn about what we believe and why we believe it, then we leave it in the hands of the other guys to define us. And so
Absolutely.
I just think, Brad, what you're doing with Free Lunch Express and the COVID sessions and stuff like that is super important, just in helping people understand that they are not by themselves alone out there.
No, and for literally decades, the right hasn't done well with messaging, with humor. I mean, Saturday Night Live's been kind of the bastion of the left for a long time, and so now not just us, but many other productions, including like the Daily Wire, other big players are getting involved in right of center content creation. And I think it benefits the discussion, benefits everybody, and it gives half the country something to cheer about too.
Absolutely. What's the Daily Wire got? They're doing DW publications now, or something. They're doing books. They got a movie coming out.
Yeah, they're backing films now. They're getting into creating scripted content that's right leaning, and they've got a big platform and a lot of dough. So it's good to see, the Ben Shapiros and others get out there and fighting the culture wars. Like you said, politics is downstream from pop culture, and so we've got to be in the arena for pop culture. Young people, conservatives have not done a great job of reaching out to young people through messaging and through entertainment. So now it's never too late to get involved. And so that's what our goal is as a company, is to broaden our reach and reach people that haven't been talked to before, except from maybe what they're hearing at their school or and so forth. So I think it's another avenue they need to hear.
And I love the way you're sharing, how do we reach young people? Benjamin and I talk about all the time, young people. How do we reach the next generation? We work with at-risk youth. We volunteer. And Benjamin having a production company, given his, I totally lost my train of thought. I was going to I had the perfect pivot and I transition to bringing Benjamin in, and I totally lost my train of thought. Seriously though. So, we have to produce content, and Benjamin and I talk all the time about how conservative content, Christian content in particular, is just not good. Oftentimes it lacks production value. It's got bad writing. It's not creative. It's not funny. And so we talk a lot about how do we bring up the value of the content that we want to see.
Yeah.
And isn't that, Benjamin, speak to why you started Ballistic Blade Entertainment?
Well, it was a number of different reasons. I just wasn't, one of the main reasons I wasn't seeing the type of content that I wanted to see. I'm a nerd. I'm wearing a shirt with an anime ninja on the front.
There
if
you
you
go.
Can't tell what this is. Itachi Uchiha, the greatest is the Uchiha clan, for the record. Put that out there. My people who know, you know, right? The point is, like, I wasn't seeing that kind of choreography and videography in the film world when I got into it, and I also wasn't seeing a lot of people who kind of look like me in the local area that I'm in, doing the kind of stuff I wanted to do. And so we were like, well, if no one else is going to make it, then, or no one's going to give us the opportunity to be in it or the opportunity to work on it, I guess we're going to have to produce it. So that was the genesis of Illicit Blade.
And it sounds like that's a lot your story as well, Brad.
It absolutely is. And it started back in 2010. I was working on a political campaign for Lenny Britton, who's now one of my business partners. He was running for the United States Senate against Patrick Leahy, a huge long shot. Nobody knew who Lenny Britton was. He owned a hardware store in just outside of Woodstock, Vermont. And he decided to run for office, and he was a compelling candidate. And we made some commercials that used humor to make his point about back in 12 years ago, believe it or not, the national debt was all the rage. And the national debt was only like $11 trillion back in 2010. Now it's $30 trillion, but nobody talks about that. But back in 2010, the national debt was a huge deal. And so there's a commercial that we did that's a spoof of the Publishers Clearinghouse ads that they run every year forever. And it looks like you might have it teed up here.
Yes, I want to try to play it now. Sometimes I have trouble getting the sound to work. So our viewers out there, let me know if you can hear it playing or not. And if you can't, I'll try to see if I can figure it out.
I can
okay, so this is the campaign commercial. So I've keyed it up a little part way in to that. So everybody watching, let me know if you can hear it. Oh, wait. Okay. So we can hear it. Patricia says they can't hear it. Shoot. Okay. Hold on. Talk amongst yourselves.
Yeah, I'm not able to hear.
Oh, you couldn't hear it either?
I'm not able to hear.
Okay. You guys talk and sound smart. You guys talk and sound smart for a second. Talk about, for a minute, for just a second while I try to figure out what is wrong. Why don't you guys discuss, what we were talking about before we went live, which is how hard is it, both Brad, especially you as a producer, hiring talent and staff and stuff like that will go along with political satire that maybe they don't agree with or whatever. And then Benjamin, you can also talk about being the talent and what it was like. We've had whether it was being typecast or the political stuff. Okay.
Well, we started a show called News Done Right that was a satire that we hired actors out of Los Angeles. And the challenge that actors face, I'm sure Benjamin can speak to this, is that you don't want to get typecast, but also in Hollywood, if you do a right of center project or a conservative project, you're kind of on a list, and it's real, and you don't get work. If you're an outspoken conservative, you get work that's from other conservative outlets. But most actors, they want to have a wide base audience. They don't want to limit who they can work for. And so we had some real challenges when we were casting some of our shows, because we would be honest with them and say, look, this is a right of center comedy show. We poke fun at many things that are popular these days in lefty America. And we've had a lot of actors take a pass on it just because not that they necessarily don't agree with our material or don't think it's funny, but because they don't want to go down that path because they don't want any backlash. That said, there's so many great actors that I've hired over the years that don't necessarily align with our politics, but they're fantastic actors and they take it as an opportunity and have fun with it. And when we did that News Done Right show, We had an actress, Rachel League, who's been in a ton of movies and commercials, and very accomplished actress. And she kind of played the silly, ditzy, funny girl to the straight man. And she's definitely a left of center where she is politically. And she did 150 episodes with us of conservative humor because she liked the material, she thought it was funny, and she didn't care what people thought. And to her credit, there's some brave people like that. But another quick story is, and then I'll let Benjamin from his point of view. But we made a big movie. Well, from us, a big movie. It was the Bernie Sanders satire, Free Lunch Express. It was a bigger budget than we usually work with, and we had casting calls in Los Angeles. We had a first-rate casting director, and we'd have really amazing actors. The talent pool is so deep in Los Angeles and around the country for actors, and we would find actors that Lenny Britton and Laura Broughton, our other partner, that the three of us would love. We'd say, "Oh, this actor is perfect for this role." And so we would tell the actor that they got the role, and then they'd say, "Okay, well, let me see the script or a part of the script." And then we would send them the script, and then we get up. The manager would call us the next day and say, this isn't really something we're comfortable doing at this point in his career because that. And I'm like, okay, we get it. Next. So, we had that happen right up until we're about to shoot the movie. We had a couple actors bail out on our performance, or on their performance, literally a week before we're about to shoot, because we were a right of center satire poking fun at Bernie Sanders. But
So
at the end of the
hold
day,
on, Brad, really quick. Why not like announce that ahead of time? Like, why not say like this is
We-
what we're doing?
we did. We said we're making a mockumentary about Bernie Sanders, so actors would know that going in. But see, actors, they show up at casting calls, and there's so many casting calls. They just go, they show up and like, okay, and if I get the part, then I can make a decision. So there was a lot of we were very candid about, look, this is a satire mocking Bernie. So if you're not good with that, you can stay home and not show up. But luckily, and the other point I want to make is that the crew, we had a cast and crew of 45 people on this Bernie Sanders movie, and
Wow.
and most of the crew, and I'm sure Benjamin can speak to it, the same thing in Texas as it is in LA, but for the most part, crews are left leaning. Let's say they're mostly liberal people in Hollywood. I mean, most people are left leaning. And the beauty of what we did with making Free Lunch Express is that they saw us as truly compassionate conservatives. We kind of broke the mold of what people think a Republican or a conservative looks like. And after working with us side by side with Lenny Britton and myself, people would see that we're just like, we all get along. We're all people. We're all, we eat the same way. We laugh the same way. We might have different opinions about some things, but at the end of the day, it really brought people together regardless of your politics, because we were like a family. And that's because people were civil to each other, and it wasn't just a bunch of shouting.
That's
we're
right.
Working together, and you have a job to do. So
okay. Speaking of shouting, okay, we're gonna try this again. I think I figured it out. Okay, so we're gonna play the Lenny Britton commercial. This was back in the day, 2010. So 12 years ago. Okay.
Going back to the Wayback Machine.
Way back.
Mom, who do you think that is?
There we go. Now I can hear it.
What's something?
Can't see it, but.
Oh, ha 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 ha.
Mommy, are we rich?
All right.
I want a pony.
Mrs. Johnson?
Yes.
I have an invoice for you from the United States federal government. For you and your children.
Invoice? I thought it was a check. Mommy, what's an invoice?
This is a bill for your family share of the national debt. It's $168,000.
This is a joke, right?
Miss, we're from the government. There is no joking.
That's a lot of money.
Better get a paper route, Billy.
Mommy, make the bad man go away.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, go away. Get out of here.
Both of you out of here.
This is for you and your family. This is
We
for you
didn't
and your
ask
family.
for it, so we're not taking it. Okay,
Yep. Hold on. I'll just slide it in the
Just
door.
gonna slide it in the door. That's my favorite part.
Thank you.
That is good.
That went well.
Yeah.
Whoa, that's so good.
Yeah,
And
we had fun doing that one.
can you imagine now what was the share of the debt, and now back then it was
Yeah.
what, like 4
I,
trillion or
I,
3
I
trillion or
think when
something?
back in 2010, I want to say our national debt was around $11 trillion, give or take
Oh, right,
$1 trillion,
because
and
that was
now it's 30.
after.
I know. We just crested over $30 trillion, but back in 2010, everybody was talking about the national debt. It was very top of
Yep.
mind nationally, and that commercial really had a lot of fun with it in a comedic way, but also showed Lenny Britton to be somebody that's concerned about our future and children. And the commercial worked on a lot of different levels, and we raised a bunch of money from it, which was good too.
Well, I love how creative that is. You
Yeah.
know, it's a way to really highlight the absurdity of it. And I think that's one of the things in comedy. That's one of the, I don't know, like a tenet or whatever, is you have to ratchet it up till it's absurd. And that's
Yeah.
that's where the
Yeah.
funny is.
Yeah,
Yeah.
You know,
that's
you
our
poke
MO.
somebody once, it's not funny. You poke them lots of times, and then that makes it funny. You just gotta ratchet it up. Okay,
Agreed.
so Benjamin, getting back to you, that same question about creating content and being a creator in the environment that we're in. And you're not you're not a political person per se. You know, you don't do
I don't think
politics
that I am a political person, but
except for like
since
my
they make
stuff.
everything political, it's hard to not be political.
True.
A lot of times it becomes political just because you don't agree with stuff. So like I've had auditions for stuff where it's offensive to conservatives and it's a little bit ridiculous. And I'm like, hey man, I'm not interested in doing that. And Brad is correct. Walking on a film set, typically, even here in Texas, you're dealing with a lot of people who have a very specific palette of politics. And there are things you can do and say where you think it's going to, like, it's going to be fine. And me being black means that there are other things that they think I'm automatically going to be game for. So there are interesting conversations that happen on set, even just being there around people, and they start talking, and you have to
They just
correct
assume
people.
because of the color of your skin that
Yeah,
you have a certain political persuasion.
correct.
That's
They
what you're
haven't even
saying.
bothered to assess my character at all. They've just immediately gone to skin tone. Clearly, that guy's
Yeah.
blank. So that's always fun. I had plenty of run-ins with that, and it's very similar to what Brad says. Like I was raised Christian, right? So I'm used to having an opinion that people don't quite understand, that they misunderstand where you are in the world in comparison to them, and having to explain it in a way that is not triggering because I'm trying to get a point across.
Right.
So I normally do a pretty decent job of telling people why something they said was stupid or that's a ridiculous assumption or
But without calling people stupid. That's
I mean,
that's a
yeah,
gift that you have.
That's the gift.
when I want to be cordial, yes, I try to be a lot, but I am naturally a little quick-witted, a little sarcastic, so
Yeah.
I have to actively work against that 9 times out of 10 when I'm around mixed company, or even when I'm around my friends or whatever, and I just really want to make sure I drive the point home. I don't want you to deflect against the reason and the logic that I'm applying just because your feelings got involved and you got emotional. So I try not to do that. But I realize that I have the unpopular, responsible stance. And when you're raised as a Christian in America, you kind of get used to this game that conservatives are having to play now. So it just is what it is.
That is absolutely true. And I want to highlight a couple of your projects at least while we're on here, Brad. And I pulled up my homeless landlord skit too because it is comedic, and it is bringing a message about. And Benjamin has helped me tremendously produce my commercials and my other videos. And it's super duper fun. So even if he tried not to be political, I just like make him be political
You
with
make him.
I do want to say this.
You have no choice.
Well, I mean, I did, like, my Facebook was started for business purposes.
Yeah.
Right. Like, that's why I have Facebook originally. Everything else is like a bonus. So I try not to be too ridiculous, but I will say the last 24, 36 months have made it impossible to not have to weigh in and hear ridiculous things. Like, a lot of my energy came from, now we'll get back to it, but we're going to talk about it. When the riots and all this stuff was happening and commercial buildings were being attacked, and people were saying, like, it's fine, it's reparations. And I'm like, yeah, but that's like a black business. Or
that you're burning down. Yeah.
Right. Or like a black cop will get killed and they're like, oh, it doesn't matter because cops' lives don't matter. I'm like, yeah, but he was black though. So what do you mean? Like, what are you saying? And I have friends that are security and federal guards. We were told by people that
Their
our lives
lives
didn't matter because we're race traders.
Yeah.
I was told I was a coon because my wife was white. I was told people burning down the buildings is fine. People have insurance. I'm like, well, I rent from a commercial structure in the back end of a commercial structure where there are children who are trained here. And I'm like, what do you think would happen if you came here throwing Molotov cocktails? You think I'm gonna just let that slide? I'm gonna throw something back at you because that's what you deserve. And so when you have these conversations with people and you can take this high-end concept of your social whatever, and I put it on the field and I say, hey, let's take that and let's not do what ifs and maybes. Let's say, like, let's take that and apply it to a real situation. My situation, a person you know right now. Would you still say that that's okay? And people start looking really ridiculous when you make them let's put it on the field and see if that actually shakes out. Like, that theory is cute. Let's run it. Let's, as we say where I'm from, let's run it, fam. And when you do that, you realize how quickly the logic starts to unravel. And so that's the stuff that gets you engaged.
And that's why I think it's so important, especially, so many of us just want to, like, be left alone, right? Like, the majority of Americans, I think, are like, just leave me alone. Yes. I just want to do my thing over here. I want to do my job. I want to have fun. I want to play, whatever. And you do you over there and we'll be good, right? Mm-hmm. Like, can't we just be cool? And so this politeness means we've disengaged from the conversation.
Yes.
Basically. And so now it's like, okay, I can't not say anything anymore because you've gone so far.
Yeah.
Well, and you've woken up a whole section of the population, like those moms in Loudoun, Virginia, that show up at the school board meetings. I mean, people now are paying attention. Instead of, we just kind of, like you said, we're just kind of sitting around going, okay, I'm just going to mind my own business. But with all these mandates and all the other nonsense that's happening, people say, okay, and then it starts affecting the children. And that's when all hell breaks loose, because don't mess with people's kids. Don't mess with people's kids.
But it's also you have people, you're getting red and black pilled all over the place, because I did when I realized how much the media was lying about a variety of things. And then just how disingenuous people were being when they're talking about numbers and whatever. And you're like, wow, this is like, I was alive a year ago and I remember what you said. The internet is forever, fam. Like, we can pull it up and I can run the videos side by side. And I can tell that you're lying.
They count on most people not seeing it though.
But here's the thing: when someone says something to you that's wild, like natural immunity isn't a thing, I'm like, all right, it's been a thing in science this entire time I've been alive, but all of a sudden it's not a thing. Okay, right? It's a novel virus. You don't know anything about it, but you do know that this thing has been a scientific concept forever is no longer. You know that much. Okay. You don't know how long it's going to last on the door, but you do know that if I have the thing already, I have no protection. You're certain of that. Got it.
Absolutely certain.
And you know, if I take the jab, that all of a sudden I won't transmit anything and everything's fine. You know this. And then what happens is you attack people and you call them Neanderthals and stupid and whatever. And we're just trying to chill and live our life. But you're now talking down. We're going to get hood now. Now you're talking down.
Did you say we're going to get hood
We're going to get hood now. So now you're talking down, right? Now you're talking down, and we're looking at you going, why are you being disrespectful? You can just respectfully disagree. Then 3 months later, as Joe Rogan's been talking about, you're wrong.
Yeah.
Now the
Yeah.
science is caught up to where it was before this whole scenario. So
Yeah.
the loops,
Yeah. We've
you've
gone
done a
back in
loop,
time
Yeah.
in
right?
reality.
We're back to 2019 where reason and logic were prevailed, and you're looking at it and you're
That's an argument.
now I'm super hot because you called me stupid. That's what a lot of it is too. It's not just the children. You've told people
Well,
that they're illogical and dumb, and come to find out you've been wrong about something.
well, just for example, the last month, I've seen so many mainstream, like NBC News, everybody talking about we're really endangering our children by having them wear masks all the time, and there's damage, long-term damage that's being done to our children by how we've handled COVID for our kids. We knew that 18 months ago.
Yep.
It's not
Yep.
a newsflash to most people that were, wearing a mask 8 hours a day is harms
Oh yeah.
communication ability.
One of my
All these
clients.
things.
One of my
So
clients helps kids with like dyslexia and all these other learning disabilities. And she said, and right at the beginning, she said this mask thing is going to destroy children.
Ooh,
well, it's just getting back to what Benjamin said. What was viewed as a conspiracy 6 months ago is science, accepted science today.
Your guy says it's science. Got it.
Yeah. So the pro-science crowd is actually anti-science, but that's complicated. But
So, well,
wow.
speaking of COVID, let's watch a clip from COVID confessions. This
Are we
one is
supposed
my
to say the
favorite.
name? Are we supposed to say? Is that why they call it the coof? So they don't say the
Oh,
word and
because
make
of
it
the
a thing?
stupid
Is that
algorithm
a
listening
thing?
for it. Okay.
it's COVID sessions. Yeah, want me to set this up a little bit?
Yeah, go ahead, set it up.
Yeah, this is a new series that we've created, and we've shot 4 episodes so far. 2 of them are up and out the door. What we're doing is we have a psychiatrist who's interviewing different patients that are afflicted with severe COVID distress. COVID has done awful things to their lives, and we're ratcheting it up and turning it on to 11 and exaggerating things maybe a little bit. But it's satire. It's kind of dark humor. But I think if you show a clip, the audience will get a sense of what we're up to. But it's going to be an ongoing series about the damage that COVID and all it encompasses is doing to marriages, to kids, to businesses, etc.
All right. Okay, so here we go. And then we've got a question from the audience after that. Yeah, so just everybody ask questions. If you've got a question for Brad or Benjamin or me or whatever,
just episode.
Throw it in the chat.
Swatted, so ask the questions now.
Ask the question before we get turned off.
Okay. Okay, hold on.
Thank God. No, we were here because COVID ruined our marriage.
I would use devastated. COVID totally devastated our marriage.
You would use a different word just to invalidate me.
Okay, good.
No, you don't need me to invalidate you. You were doing that just fine by yourself.
Okay, just hang on, just one.
Well, you could never even use valet parking because no one's willing to validate you.
That's a good one.
I don't need validation.
You mind if I use that? I want to send it over to the funny bone section of the psychiatry journal.
Self-validation. One freaking self-help book in your life. You want to be talking to somebody paying $1 million.
All right. Before we move on, let's get some background.
Okay. I was born in Germantown, Pennsylvania.
Your marriage. Your marriage.
So I don't know how much we can play. I don't want to give away your whole bit.
Okay.
But I thought this was a really good example of the actors that you got. And it looks, I mean, this is beautifully shot. It looks pretty, right? So this is dark humor that you actually really did a good job producing. This isn't just.
Yeah, well, I'm lucky. I got Lenny Britton, writer director. He wrote and directed it. We've got a wonderful camera crew, Mr. John Vasquez and a guy named Trigger, and it looks fantastic. It looks really good. The actors are fabulous. Actually, that actress that was in that scene that you just played Bernie Sanders' first wife in Free Lunch Express, and her name is Jessica Andis, and she's a tremendous actress, beautiful inside and out, and really talented. And so she's she's going to be a reoccurring character on our COVID sessions, which is fantastic.
Awesome.
And also shout out to Heath Harper, the psychiatrist, which is a great backdrop to kind of explore the nuances of how much COVID is harming people. So having the whole shtick is that, he's a psychiatrist interviewing or with his patients talking about their problems. And so this is the platform that we're using to kind of launch the show on. And so there'll be a lot more episodes of crazy people talking COVID.
Oh, speaking of Mr. Len Britton, he is watching with us this evening.
All right.
We got
Awesome.
people in the crowd.
We got the whole crew here. That's pretty exciting.
All right. Hello, Len.
He is, and he's actually responding to one of the other viewers. So this is perfect. Patricia Crocker asked, do you think we should try to get involved in the legacy media, like infiltrate the legacy media? Or do you think that it's so bad that we just need to go off and do our own versions of Facebook and Twitter and all of those things? Why don't you start, Brad?
When I think of legacy media in Vermont, I think of some of the big outlets like 7 Days and Vermont Digger being legacy media, and you have all the networks as well, the CBS affiliate, WCX, and others. My opinion is that these people are never going to really give you a fair shake. I've been running campaigns and involved in politics in Vermont for 13, 14 years, and I tried the nice guy approach, talking to journalists, sharing press releases, backstory of what's going on, and you just get run over. At least my experience with the candidates that we've run, some wonderful candidates like Wendy Wilton when she ran for treasurer in the state of Vermont back in 2012. Wendy was an incredible candidate that was treated unbelievably harshly by the press. So my point being is that, to answer Pat Crocker's question, I think we need to create our own avenues, our own platforms for our message, and be able to use the Facebooks and so forth and Twitters to get our message out. But I don't think you can really count on the journalists to have a come to Jesus moment and acknowledge that conservatives can be on an equal playing field with the left in Vermont. That's my opinion. But I don't know what.
I agree. As a candidate who got lied on in the news, or ignored completely, right?
Nice.
So if they did mention me, it was inaccurate information, name spelled incorrectly, and whatever.
Yeah.
So there's that. But also, it is so important. I don't know why I'm so uncomfortable pitching this, but I need to get more comfortable with it. If we want to have conservative media, we have to support the content that's being created.
Yep.
I will share my Patreon link. I need to actually switch over to like Subscribestar or something like that away from Patreon. But I have a Patreon page. You guys can go buy our book. If I was able to replace my income from accounting by running around the state, doing live coverage and all this stuff, I would love to do that. That would make me overjoyed. But that means that we have to contribute to those things.
Support each other. Absolutely.
Exactly.
Yeah. And even in Texas, I mean, I'm sure there's conservative, well, you're in Texas, it's probably an easier path in the media landscape, I would imagine, in Texas outside of Austin. But
I wouldn't be convinced of that.
In the media space, there's probably more options. I haven't looked into it. There's probably more options than say Vermont does.
Yeah.
Oh, for sure. But I'm just saying, like, if you're in Austin, it's very still left leaning.
Sure.
And you're definitely still. I mean, you don't get treated fairly. This is from talking to Republican women in the area who've run for office and stuff like that. But then also it's the flip side. Like we went to the Libertarian Party meeting a few weeks ago, and we were hearing from people where the Republicans are the bad guys and they're suppressing stuff and not letting people talk. And it's like, it seems like whoever is in power basically just wants to silence whoever is not in power.
Yes, that's literally how the game is played forever in every facet of human life. You are correct.
Yep. Well, what we can do is support conservative outlets, whether it be our stuff,
The good
Erica's stuff.
guys.
I mean,
Me,
there's the Vermont
Brad,
Chronicles, there's True
Benjamin.
North. Yeah, but there's a pulse
Yep.
in Vermont. What I
Ethan
like about,
Allen.
just to be kind of Vermont centric here for a minute, because we all love Vermont and we want to see Vermont do well.
Yes.
There's a lot more conservative media activity today than there was 5 years ago. 5 years ago, there was virtually nothing. You had True North reports and some others, but now there's actually people creating content, and there's more right news you can read if you're looking for it. So
Yep.
anyway, that's a good. So there's progress being made.
Yes. Yes,
there is.
absolutely. For anybody who doesn't know, True North Reports is a good one. You can sign up to get their online newspaper. Vermont Daily Chronicle, Ethan Allen Institute puts out a lot of good information. Don't they do roll call for the Vermont legislature?
They do. They do deep dives into who votes on what and how the vote affects everything. They do that really well on a regular basis, and that's critical. Good news.
Okay. Yes. Okay. So let's see. Why don't we look at, I'm going to show you guys something from the homeless landlord, and then we're going to get into Free Lunch Express and where you're at with that, and
all right,
how people can support you and find it, and all your accolades and all that other stuff. Benjamin,
all that cool stuff.
Yes, Benjamin, what do you think? Which part should we show them? The Susan part, or
I think that's probably a good section when you're in the house tooling around. I kind of like what we did, the Parks and Rec style.
like when we're in the basement?
Yeah, when you're in the sink and all that stuff.
Oh, wait, hold on. Okay, hold on. Do. This one I wasn't planned for.
Okay. I know her.
Extra money off of this beast here. I'm real entrepreneurial, right? I told you I thought I could make some different.
Oh, okay, let me set it up like Brad did. Hold on. Okay, so the idea was, how do we highlight how unaffordable it is to live in Burlington and all of this stuff, right? So when our reassessment is happening and our property taxes go up 25%, and they passed these bonds that they swore weren't going to make our taxes go up, and our taxes go up, and then they're doing the rate increase in BED and all of the things. But really, we want it to be affordable. We care about affordability, so we're going to tax the hell out of you. So the premise of this is, I am a homeless landlord. So I own the property, because in Burlington, you can live on public property. And
sure.
It's okay, right? And our house happens to be on the bike path. So that's what made me think of it. Was I was like, oh, we're going to have, I'm going to just live. I'm going to build this structure and live on the bike path next to my house. So this is me showing everybody the thing.
Taking off, renting out the whole house. I've come up with some other ways to make a little extra money off of this beast here. I'm real entrepreneurial, right? I told you I thought I could make some different money. Some
You're supposed to be able to see it.
Can you
oh, dang it.
Yep. Yep. Can hear it. There we go.
Like that for everybody to see. Perfect. Money. That's what I'm talking about. Boom. I sleep out here, hang out here. The Wi-Fi signal's really good, so I can do my workout here. And
yeah.
I just shower in the bathroom in the basement and hang out.
Why don't you just get in the basement?
Oh, you think that I could do that, but there's these silly rules that the ceiling has to be a certain height. It's crazy.
So I use the bathroom down here, which is great. The bathroom was built years ago. So it goes on, and it's silly. I do actually use real information. I talk about the okay, I'll show you guys this one. I do talk about the actual legitimate zoning laws. So the numbers I give are real. When I talk about how much it was going to cost to do the energy efficiency that they have now made mandatory, and how long it was going to take for us to see that back in, savings or whatever. And this is some of Benjamin's cutting and being creative, playing around.
She's awful. So my grandparents had that gazebo built, and even had a horse, and chickens, and goats out here.
All true.
Susan.
That's the tenant that we can't evict, and that is me in the window with a wig on, being ridiculous.
It's so bad.
But it was like, how do we present the truth of how ridiculous it is to be a landlord here?
And point out the absurdity in the situation in a funny way,
Correct.
Which is great.
So what gave you the inspiration for Free Lunch Express? Like, where did that all come from? Did you?
Great question. It originated when Bernie started talking about running for president. And we said, as Vermonters, we know Bernie. I'm a Vermonter by choice. I moved to Vermont in 2007. I'm not a Vermonter by Vermont standards. But as somebody who follows politics and being in Vermont, we're familiar with Bernie, and we know Bernie, and a lot of the rest of the country did not know Bernie very well. So we started talking between Lenore Broughton and Lenny Britton and myself, and we said, you know what? We should make a movie about the real Bernie. And because Bernie's going to run for president, we know it's definitely happening. So let's go make a movie. And so Lenny Britton got started on writing a screenplay, and to his credit and many revisions, he wrote a 90-page or so screenplay that started really with young Bernie in Brooklyn, where he takes a blood oath to Stalin. It's embellished a little bit, but and we go from there.
That's not a real thing, though, right?
Well, it could be. I mean, I don't know, but have to ask Bernie. 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 So it's
Bernie hasn't denied it, and that's what
he has not denied it. So it's entirely possible Bernie did a blood oath to Stalin, but it's really it's very silly. It's a silly satire, but it starts with Bernie when he's about 15 years old in Brooklyn. Shows him on coming up to Vermont, where he joins a commune and then gets thrown out of the commune for not doing his fair share and bogarting all the weed. And then it has him running for mayor, where he wins by 10 votes because one prominent family decided to go on vacation in Burlington, and Peter Smith, the candidate. Anyway, so we trace Bernie through the beginning of mayor of Burlington to the House and to the Senate, and we have a lot of fun along the way, poking fun at Bernie with and in the movie there's AOC's in the movie, we've got the Clintons in the movie. Maxine Waters, George Washington, played by Kevin Sorbo, and a bunch of others. I mean, it's really a ridiculously silly satire poking fun at Bernie Sanders, and we had a great time making it. But it all originated because Bernie was going to run for president. We felt that the country needed to know a little bit more about Bernie than maybe what he's telling you.
Right. Pat Crocker just left a comment. She said, I watched the movie White Christmas last month, and there was a punchline in the movie saying something to the effect of, it's as hard as finding a Democrat in Vermont. She said that's when she realized how much things had changed here. Pat, that is crazy. Thank you for sharing that. And I actually went back and looked at the election results prior to Pat Leahy and Bernie getting elected, basically back in the 70s and 80s. And before, Leahy, Welsh, and Sanders, essentially, it was 95% Republican or Whig party, back in the day before Republican wasn't a thing. And so it really has only been in the last little bit since they got a hold of that seat. So absolutely crazy.
And look at where Vermont is today. It's crazy how the pendulum has swung completely the other way the last 30 years.
Can we watch the trailer? Is it okay if we watch the whole trailer?
Please.
Is that okay? Okay, so everybody's got to watch this.
Yeah, it's a new trailer. Yeah, we just redid the trailer, and I'll tell you a little bit more about it after you.
Okay. So this is at the very beginning. And see, I remembered to share my screen this time. See?
Very
I
good.
remembered
You're
that
learning.
time.
You
Okay.
got this.
Once upon a time, in the land of the free and the home of the brave, came a man who thought capitalism was, oh, so great.
Making sure the government pays for everything. Sanders, we need to have a discussion. Why are you bogarting your stash?
That is a totally false accusation. I want everyone to be as high as I am, or possibly even higher. Did I mention that I have a blood pact with Stalin?
Congratulations!
It's a miracle.
Your intransigence will define
I am Lieutenant Equal in the office of Chief amongst Equals.
Don't mess with me, Bernie.
I mean, President of the United States.
This fosters the gift that keeps on giving.
An unemployable guy with no sense of humor. You should try politics.
You have some big names in this.
Yeah.
If we lose, we can use the rest of the money for whatever we want. I'd like to get my name on the ballot for the next mayor election.
What is my higher calling?
Your higher calling is anarchy and taking down capitalism. Sheesh.
I'm thinking that I lay low. Vote for me. Oh. Wait for the country to come unraveled economically. Yeah, that's good. That's good. Yeah, there it is. I like it. And then launch my plan for Soviet-style socialism.
That man is freak.
I am so screwed.
Dear old Bernie. What a story.
Wow.
Yeah, no, isn't that? We're proud of it. It's really a fun film. Great actors. We got the Malcolm McDowell as our narrator. Malcolm is a full legend in Hollywood, and he loved the script so much that we offered him the narrating role, and he took it right away. He read it and goes, "Oh, this is great." And it's not necessarily that he's not a fan of Bernie. He's actually a Clinton guy. I mean, Malcolm McDowell would probably tell you he's a Clinton supporter, but I think he kind of liked Jim and Bernie a little bit. So it was good to have Malcolm in there. We had Kevin Sorbo play George Washington. Eric Roberts, Golden Globe winner, Julia Roberts' brother, has a fun cameo where he kind of sets Bernie on the path of politics through that conversation that he has in line at the unemployment office. So anyhow, highly recommend it. It's available. You can watch it on YouTube and on a whole bunch of other places. We just signed a international rights distribution agreement with a company called Green Apple Entertainment, who's going to be selling the rights to Free Lunch Express around the globe, and that's ongoing. They're just starting right now. We just revised. We just did a different version of the trailer that you just showed, and we have a new movie poster and some of the other kind of collateral assets for the film that we've redone a bit with this new bite of the apple that we're going to have. Because the bad news, not the bad news, but we released this movie at the worst possible time. We released it right after the election, with all the chaos, with Trump disputing the election,
Georgia and all that stuff.
Georgia, we released it we couldn't have picked maybe an inopportune time like we did, because we couldn't get any traction with and we had a promotion budget. We had anyways, we did our best to pump it out there, but all the oxygen in the world was being consumed with the politics in DC, and people were not in the mood to see a silly satire about Bernie in when the challenges of December a year ago. So anyhow,
Brad,
we kind of feel like it's going to get another try.
Share a little bit about, you mentioned that you've actually gotten more traction in foreign markets than in the United States.
Well, Lenny Britton, our writer-director, has been submitting Free Lunch Express to film festivals here in the U.S. and around the world, and it's amazing how well the film is done at the festivals. It's won 9 or 10 Best Comedy Awards. It's won other awards for directing and writing, etc. But the irony is that where the film does really well is in Eastern Europe and in Central Europe, where people know socialism and the dangers of socialism very well because they've lived it. It's been close to them, or their families have escaped from Poland or wherever when they've fled socialism. So it really rings true, and we've had incredible response from people in Eastern Europe who know who Bernie Sanders is. And the film's also, it's won festivals here in the U.S. We've and in Canada. So I mean, the film, it's the left hates it. The far lefties, the Bernie bot people that love it, they don't like the film and they savage it online. So if you go online and you type in Free Lunch Express, you'll see a bunch of comments. Oh, this is the worst piece of blah blah blah. And it's the lefties, Bernie, because there was a concerted effort to kind of really slam the film when we came out with it on social media with the left. But the good news is that the cream rises to the top. The film is it's entertaining and funny. It's not everybody's cup of tea, but if you like kind of a silly satire, think Jojo Rabbit. If you saw the movie Jojo Rabbit about Nazi Germany, it's similar vein, similar to it's. I think if you like that type of funny, silly satire, you'll really like Free Lunch Express, and it's available, like I said, on YouTube and on Google Play. So if you want to find it, you can Google it and find it and watch it and leave a good comment.
I had a question about.
Well, hold on, Benjamin. Put just 1 second. We have a comment. We have another critic in our comment section of it. KS
Right.
Warren says Bernie's clothes aren't wrinkled enough. So,
yeah, KS Warren. Well, it's the middle actor that plays Bernie Sanders. We plays middle Bernie. His name is Sam Britton. He does such an amazing job of capturing Bernie's look and feel, and the wardrobe is a huge part of Bernie because Bernie's disheveled. That's his look. He doesn't comb his hair very often. His shirts are pretty wrinkled, and so we did our best, KS Warren, to capture the full Bernie with his fashion sense. But
and Len says the film was rejected from the Middlebury Film Festival for Vermont filmmakers.
yeah, good comment, Len. Yeah, so Middlebury has a film festival where they specialize in new filmmakers, and we're new filmmakers. This is our first feature film, and it's made by Vermonters. It's written by a Vermonter. Lenny Britton's ninth generation Vermonter. Lenore Broughton, it's part of our project. She's a Vermonter. I've been living in Vermont, so we submitted the film to the Middlebury Film Festival, and they denied us, and it was obviously denied, not on the merits of the film, because I saw some of the films that were in the Middlebury Film Festival and amateur hour, but anyways, it was ridiculous that they didn't allow our film in. And we raised hell about it. We complained. We wrote emails, and they just said, "Nah,
too bad, suckers.
Too bad."
Did they even give you a justification at all?
No, I don't know. Just not accepted. And then we couldn't even get a response from the guy who runs the film festival. I don't remember his name. But,
and I'll speak as a person who runs a festival.
Yeah,
I do tend to respond when people ask why something got rejected. As a filmmaker, I'd want to know that too. And, I could tool something up, tighten up a sequence or whatever. And I'll tell people. And I've had people argue with me, but I'm right. I can give you the timestamps to prove why I'm right. We have an action film festival. So like if you have punches that don't connect on stream, I'm not going to be able to play your project, right? And I have people push back. But I'll say, hey, man, a minute and 32 seconds in, that punch didn't connect. These sound effects are off so that they can fix it. This is very rude to submit. Because you spend a lot of money submitting to different film festivals, so not even be able to get a basic response is kind of rough.
Well, like you said, we got basically the film got accepted everywhere. I mean, very rarely did Free Lunch Express. Maybe in some of the biggest film festivals we didn't make it into, but all kinds of sizable film festivals in Toronto and Berlin and Cannes, France, and in Eastern Europe. I mean, Free Lunch Express is just a satire, sailed right through, and we were part of the festival, but not in Middlebury. Middlebury's like the new home. Middlebury's like so anti-First Amendment, and they're very strict. Anyways, Middlebury's a mess.
It's so silly.
Okay,
so Benjamin, you had a question. Yes, I'm coming back.
No, I'm back. No, I'm doing it. Nope, because you didn't let me. I'm doing it now. So, Brad, this is the question. So you submitted to a bunch of film festivals. Were any that you felt was more consequential to you getting the deal? I deal with a lot of filmmakers looking for distribution. So was it Did you call like someone directly and have that conversation, and they saw your accolades and that kind of put it over? Were they at a film festival?
It sure helps validate what we know to be true. And so the film festivals, and again, so many of them from different places around the globe, by giving us an award for whatever, it did help us with distribution, because I was able to take it out to like this company, Green Apple, through some other partners of ours. And when you can say, hey, look, we've won 9 film festivals with this thing. And even though you read some of the comments on Amazon and people are talking it down, but look at what sophisticated film audiences and people that put on film festivals know a little bit about films. So it did give us a shot in the arm to get a distribution deal. And so now the next goal is obviously just to get the film out in different markets around the globe and get another bite of the apple, as you say. And so we think it's going to do really well. Now the atmosphere is so different now than it was when we released the film 14 months ago.
It's much
better
better
environment now. Much better now. So I think I'm really optimistic about the film and it finding an audience, and a lot of that help it did come from the film festivals for sure.
Did you do the American film market at all or no?
We our partner at Green Apple, I believe they did AFM, and they do all the big they do the one in Toronto and Berlin and AFM, and there was just a big show. And again, with COVID, everything's been crazy with COVID because, but there was going to be a big film and TV show distribution thing here in Miami, Florida, that got canceled literally at the last minute because the COVID numbers were spiking in Florida. So, in this new world we're in, but yes, our distribution folks will be out banging the pots and pans at these different, locations where they have all the film people.
Awesome, man. Congrats.
Which I didn't explain very well.
So, okay, I want to make sure, let's see, we got to the COVID confessions, we got to Free Lunch Express. I want to give an opportunity to make Benjamin uncomfortable because everybody keeps asking him to come help make more content and run for office in Vermont.
Those are 2 very different requests. Like the same. Those are different things.
Yeah.
Everybody likes you and thinks you're really smart and funny.
Very sweet. They don't know me well enough. It's fine.
Oh my God, you're so silly. Okay, so let's see. We've got a couple people have said you missed Bernie's mittens.
I was thinking to say that. That's the only thing I know about is
that came out. KS said it came out after the film was produced. After you shot the film.
That was inauguration last year.
That is really, really funny.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Okay.
I do want to say that one of the things I feel like the American people were cheated on. This is what I felt. Is when the whole Hillary Clinton situation happened, the whole funny scenario there. And the Bernie bros were betrayed by Air Sanders. What I wanted to see.
So you're talking about Benjamin. So just so everybody knows, what you're talking about is in the 2016 election when it was Bernie and Hillary vying for the Democrat nomination.
Correct.
And there was evidence that the DNC hosed Bernie Sanders, basically.
Yes, and Bernie was betrayed by his own people, et tu Brute, and he bowed down and he kissed the ring. And when that happened, when I felt like the American people were cheated out of an opportunity to watch Bernie Sanders and Donald Trump on a stage. With no interest in politics, it was just going to be personal attack. 2 old men getting after it. I was looking forward to that. And
I think we just came up with our next idea for a comedic short. Ooh, now my imagination is running. Brad, I know one of the things you and I have talked about especially with that video that we watched with Better Go Get a Paper Route Billy, is how, like, what do you think is the best way for us to recruit people to help with projects like this? So we need people to be actors and do production and even just help out, like be administrative PAs or this or that or whatever. What do you think about, how do you, both of you, even Benjamin, because we have to recruit volunteers for stuff all the time.
Yeah.
What do you think is the best way to, do we need to just make direct asks to people? Do we just need to like announce that we have positions opening? How do you think we do that?
You know, I think it starts with your project with a script or whatever your idea is, and you've got to have a compelling enough of an idea to get people excited to potentially come and work for nothing, to go be part of it. Or I say nothing, maybe something, but not, you know, not a huge. I
Yeah.
think, you know, there's so many creative people in our network of friends and family and our extended universe that we live in Vermont, that I think that it's not hard to find people that would be willing to help. It's the challenge is putting the resources together to get somebody like Benjamin with his camera, and you know, having the production side of it is important, because you need the resources to, you know, you need lighting, you need lav microphones, you need you know, all the things to make it work. You need an editor to make your product look good. So, but all that comes together when you get people together to help. And so, I mean, they want to be part of something that they believe in. So I think it's having a compelling message. And I think there's so many people out there that are willing to help be part of it, because I think we can rest on our experience of what we've done. We can point to things, say, look, this is what we've done in the past. You've got a great resume, Erica, with what you've done. So you can point to, this is what we're going to do. This is how we're going to even do it better. And you can be part of it. And we'd like you to. And so if it's a matter of being an extra, waving a sign, or whatever, you know, skit you've got going, I think it's with the right amount of social media, you know, posting, I think you'd have no problem getting, you know, some talented, fun, creative types to participate. Because I think everybody at the end of the day is kind of vain in some way. People want to be part of entertainment. I mean, I know I do. I love it, and I think a lot of people feel that same way.
It's
so
fun.
You know, you find the vain people who want to make a difference, and start with them.
I'm a ham. I'm a total ham. I remembered, now that I'm an adult, I remember my grandmother saying, "Oh, Erica's going to grow up to be an actress someday. She's going to be an actress." And, you know, that never, I mean, not that they dismissed it or anything, but it wasn't really cultivated in me. You know, and now again, thinking back, I go, oh my God, when I would like run, my mom tells stories of how I would run into the living room and sing along with the commercial jingles and do little dances and whatever, and then like go back to playing in my room. But I was super excited to come out and deal with the commercials
and perform. Hey, life's a performance. The world's indeed a stage.
Yeah. How about you, Benjamin? What do you think?
Are you saying, are you talking about specifically in reference to conservative type projects? Is that what you're saying?
Maybe just anything. Because you're not, again, we're not working on just political stuff. Like, you know, you shot Chronicles last year, and that took a big team of people, and a lot of us on the crew side. I mean, most people got paid, but there was, you know, your board of creators and, you know, like we were in it,
etc.
For you.
For longer, a different deal. Yeah. So what Brad said is correct. The first thing is the script, or a really, really strong concept if you don't have a script. So I was talking to people about what I wanted to accomplish with it and what the general gist and synopsis is of it before we had the script finalized. So that's where you start getting people excited about whatever you're doing. And if they're excited enough, or they think that there's a big enough payoff on the tail end, people will join. What you don't want are the people that are just going to join because it's a paycheck, because those people aren't fun to work with. You have to deal with people for months, years at a time, in something that's going to require difficulty. Like I don't want to deal with a knucklehead that I don't like. For that, I'd rather get somebody who really wants to be here and really enjoy this process.
Yeah.
So it starts with a strong concept or a script. If you're talking about anything that might be content that they either may not agree with or whatever, that's a little racier, the way that I would do that is I would start by having a script or something that wasn't preachy. Like there are projects I've worked on which are not necessarily pro-Christian, but the story wasn't preachy and it was about something specific. It wasn't like Christians are bad. It was like, this is a sect. This is like a crazy sect of Christians that have this wild belief and some bad stuff happens. It's like, cool, maybe I'll do that one. But if you're like, oh, Christianity's slaves the planet, I'm like, you know what? I'm good. So those are the, if you can give me with a story and I can understand that there's a real purpose, or if there's a reason for that violent scene, or there's a reason for that rape scene, and you can tell me why we're doing it, I'm gonna be more inclined to get involved. If it's just there to preach or just because it's gratuitous and you want an R rating, I'm probably gonna say that's a negative. So
yeah. I in this conversation, I thought about our other short that we did, the Convention of States short.
Oh, yeah.
So you guys, any of my viewers knows I talk about Convention of States all the time. And I decided we really needed to do a comedic short about the Convention of States. And I recruited all of our friends. I'm totally playing it right now. And Brad, you're going to recognize everybody in this video. Most of you guys watching are going to recognize everybody in this video. And it really was, these are all people who I respect and value, that, you know, I call and ask for advice or help with things. Many of them were other candidates from 2020. We were all running together and we just decided to have something fun. And I didn't have a strong script because this was pretty much all improvised. But I had a very strong concept and even bought stupid costumes, and we had a lot of fun with this. Okay, so this one, I fast forward. Well, hold on. I feel like I should show the beginning with Benjamin's beautiful videography. So this is one of the things we can sometimes get in our heads, that it's got to be a certain way. And Benjamin always tries to remind me that, you know, if I want to do something, if I want to have a project, and I don't have the means to do it like I think that it needs to be done, then I need to be creative and not put myself in a box. We shot this with what, babe? One camera. We didn't even have really sound in the freaking family room in our office, the front of our house, because we couldn't get our location got canceled because they were like, heat went out. It was winter time, and it was a whole thing. Yeah, no steady cam. This was literally all handheld. It's ridiculous. Okay, I'm gonna play it from the beginning, and then I'll fast forward through a little bit because I want you to see Benjamin's beautiful videography.
It's very sweet.
Okay, Len's got a question for us after.
That wig kills me.
Hopefully everybody can hear it. Look at that slow-mo. So good. Guy Page is the best part of this whole thing. Just for the record, Guy Page is the best part.
Are you serious? We must protect our rights.
Oh my gosh, this is so stupid.
And of course, there was no flag back then, but whatever.
Do we really need a second way to amend the Constitution? We've already given the power to Congress. Do we really want to give it to the states too?
The sole responsibility for the integrity of the levers of power must not be in the hands of those who benefit from said power.
Oh, the levers, if I hear it once more, I shall kill myself in mercy and blood. Everything we haven't enumerated explicitly to ourselves.
For liberty.
For the sanctity of freedom.
Surely, ambition will check ambition, right?
And so it goes on. All
Wow.
the bad things.
Guy Page brings it.
It gets epic. Okay, so we go through a bunch of stuff that's stupid, and then everybody's like, "Oh no!" Now everybody's got to sign it. Now, okay, hurry up, sign it.
Oh my gosh!
Chaos. Wait, there's the best. This is the best part. So yeah, so it was a good time. Oops, where's my mouse?
Some crazy camera work you got going.
So in case anybody's wondering, that was basically all Benjamin. That was before I knew how to do anything. So all that camera work, all that editing, that was all Benjamin. One man armied it, and that was 2 years ago, babe. We did that. Yeah.
And you recruited all those people through friendships that you have with people already in Vermont.
Yep, exactly. And it's, Yep. And it was super fun. It was just us being like silly and everyone getting to let off a little steam after the election.
Yeah.
Because everybody worked really hard. People worked really, really hard, and took a fair amount of abuse for it. I shouldn't say that because I don't want people to be scared to run. We sometimes talk about people are so terrible, and I'll tell stories about the dumb stuff that people have said to Benjamin and I. Like I'm a racist and he's internalized the white supremacy and all of that other crap. I mean, for real. And it still does upset me sometimes. I'm not going to say like, oh, my feelings aren't hurt when people are awful, but it's gotten to the point, like I got over it, and I just said, okay, I'm going to put myself out there and I'm going to produce this content and I'm going to bring the message of conservative values to the world. And it doesn't matter what people say about me. And it doesn't matter if they're mad or they call me names. Like, God just asked me to like deliver the message. I'm not responsible for the outcome necessarily. But also, there's a lot of people who've literally died, been shot, lost limbs. My uncle has PTSD really bad from Vietnam. There are men and women who gave their lives, gave their ability to walk and get around and do all of those things so that I could have the rights that are enumerated in our Bill of Rights. And the only thing I have to do is have someone call me names and hurt my feelings. If that is all I have to do to contribute to the freedom that I benefit from, then I think that's my responsibility to do something about that.
And you know what? You're in the arena and you're participating and you're giving people another option in your community to be entertained, to learn something. So that's the value that you're bringing every day. And you know what? And with that comes the pot shots and the bad comments and the hateful. There's a bunch of crazy people in the world, and we take the arrows. That's just what's out there on social media. It's not pretty. Yep. But I stopped being thin-skinned years ago because, people savage me like on Twitter and stuff. It's really bad in Vermont. As journalists, journalists like John Walters from the VPO, he's been fired from every major publication in Vermont, but he's still got a blog and he still has an axe out for me. But But you know what? We're civil and cordial to each other to a certain degree. But he takes a couple good broadsides at me about every month. So,
Oh my
that's
gosh.
but that's just what I don't. I just keep moving.
Well, and here's the thing: is it's no different than I can sit here and say, "Oh, my feelings are hurt. People are mean to me." I did a whole. I ranted about Sarah George like a couple months ago, and was super mad. And True North and some other places picked it up, and a ton of people watched it. And I'm sure Sarah George would not appreciate me saying that. She's the reason for the violent crime increases, and that she's making Burlington suck and Vermont suck. I'm sure she doesn't appreciate being told that, but
very much fact.
It just happens to be true. We're still waiting for somebody who will run against her. She has run unopposed. This person who doesn't want to lock up murderers. Oh my God. Okay, that's not what we're talking about, though. I'm gonna.
You asked the question about what do we do to get people, I think, about like engaged or whatever. One of the things I wanted to say is that let the power left. I'm going to call them the power left. Continue doing what they're doing. They're red and black pilling people left and right. Look at CNN's numbers. Look at these things are happening because anyone who's got any kind of common sense can see that one team is going out of their way to lie, and they have the power to lie and control things. It's really clear that those things are happening. You can feel however you want to feel about whatever, but I just watched something talking about the job numbers, and they were saying how I guess Boss Man was comparing his year one numbers to people's entire times in office. And look, we created X number of jobs. Like, fam, those are the jobs that went away because you locked everything down. You cannot possibly be that disingenuous. Like, that's not.
Yeah,
that doesn't take
not
a
honest.
data scientist to figure that out, right? Like a layman can do the math. Well, when you're lying or when you're putting out information that is at least partially false or disingenuous in some way, the average not power lefty is like, hey man, that's not really, it's not really accurate. And then you start going back and going, oh, I wonder what else got twisted. Just to scotch. And that's why you're seeing people like the Stewarts and the Mauers and the Rogans, and they look like, oh, they're turning to the right. It's like, no, they're relatively normal, smart humans who can see that one side is doing something wild.
I mean, the irony about Rogan is he's not even a conservative. He's just somebody who likes to have discussions, and he's open-minded, and he flushes out ideas that go against the common narrative.
Not
and he's
allowed.
all of a sudden he's the bad guy now.
I just put a post up on my page. It's got like 50 comments, and it's a post of Rogan talking about the thing you said. It's they get mad at calling it misinformation, and then months later, it's a fact. It's a scientific fact. It's a quote from him.
And you think we're not paying attention?
And then my caption says, it says, do y'all think that I said people only hate Joe Rogan because CNN sucks? Like, agree or disagree? And it's like a whole thread, right?
I'll have to get over there.
It's a whole thing down there. I didn't put my opinion. I just wanted to see what other people would say in response to that. And it's like, if you watch Joe Rogan's show, he doesn't tell you what to do. He says, this is what
he doesn't tell you.
He's just having conversations.
That's
dangerous.
They hate it. That's dangerous.
They hate it because their team is garbage. And if you want to know why people don't believe you, Jussie Smollett. There's a good one. Everybody knew this dude was clearly lying. If you watch the Chappelle show, he said we supported him by being quiet because he was clearly lying. And I knew it too. Like, this dude's lying. I was like, there's no way. There's no way he got jumped and he left a noose on his neck. That is no black person in the history of the United States has ever been attacked. Someone put a noose on their neck and they just sat there with a sandwich in their hand. Like, I don't want to touch the evidence. I'm gonna just let it hang around.
Speaking of
in
evidence,
Chicago.
Len said to ask you, Brad, about the Kevin Sorbo, John Lovitz family TV sitcom series.
What?
Oh yeah, the Pot Ones, which we have a show called the
Oh,
Pot Ones, which has been. I thought I sent it to you, but
you did. You did. You
we
did.
can sure talk
Hold
about
on.
the Pot Ones, but yeah, it's really our showcase show. And what it is, it started off as an incubator here in Vermont where we did a couple short episodes with the Potwin family, which is a mom and dad and two children. And the son is conservative and the daughter's a social justice liberal, is kind of the premise of the show. Fast forward, and about a little over a year ago, we shot 8 full episodes of the Potwins out in California. And this is mainstream family entertainment comedy. Our show stars Kevin Sorbo, John Lovitz, the great Barry Bostwick, who's he played the mayor in Spin City and Brad in Rocky Horror Picture Show. Anyway, fabulous cast, first-rate actors, great writing by Lenny Britton. We shot 8 full episodes, and we're in the process now of kind of a long story short. We're just getting some of the episodes edited up now because we had to be COVID compliant during this production. We were the very first, one quick story here, we were the very first production in the COVID era to be approved by the Screen Actors Guild to shoot in California with the new rules for COVID protocols. And so we had a 6-week shoot, 40 plus people involved in the production. We had to test everybody for COVID practically daily and every other day. We spent $1 zillion on COVID testing. But the good news is we got through the production. We all lived in basically a bubble. We rented out a Hampton Inn out in Riverside, California, and it was about 110 degrees every day out there. We filmed in August, and but we got through the production. Nobody tested positive for COVID, and we shot 8 wonderful episodes of this family comedy that we are in the process of being shopped to outlets, mainstream outlets, the bigger, we're starting at the top and working down to premium cable and other streamers. But so that's our high bounce, big budget, rock star, fun family comedy show that we're swinging away with right now, and it's
I love it.
And that's Earth Day, right? Earth Day is one of the episodes.
Earth Day was one of the very earliest episodes that we shot. That was shot in Vermont. That's a Vermont crew, Vermont actors. We've raised the bar, and it was great. The people that we did Earth Day with in Vermont were fantastic. But we turned into being a Screen Actors Guild production, which is another level. So we did all the casting and things out of California, where we shot the show originally.
Okay, so would this be an okay clip to play to give an example, or no?
I mean, it's not indicative of the show that we have today, but it is
okay.
kind of
It's
kind of the first generation. Yeah, I think I did. It's called Quarantine. Quarantine.
Oh, why isn't it? Yep. It's not making a link. It's not giving me the hyperlink.
Oh, I can try and do that if you want to. Ask Benjamin a question. I can send you Quarantine.
Benjamin, I'm asking you a question. Here, I'll remove you from the stream. Get rid of Brad. Oops. Where'd Benjamin go? Oh, Benjamin somehow. Did I remove everybody? I might have accidentally just kicked everybody out. I'm adding you back to the screen because somehow Benjamin just got kicked out as well.
Bring him back.
I don't know where he went. Where did Benjamin go? Okay, so not Earth Day, because this was really funny. I laughed at this when he's like,
Earth Day's Earth Day's really funny. So if you want to show that for a minute, I mean, Earth Day's
while you're doing that. Here, I'll show this for a minute while we're doing this. Okay. So this is about to get super offensive, everybody. For some people, anyway.
Oh, this is.
Polar bears are dying, and we all need to do our part to reverse climate change.
My dad says that the polar bears deserve to die.
What did you just say?
day, young man.
What?
So, hon,
So
how's
then
the
it
work
goes
today?
on for a minute,
Martha had her
and
baby and
then
understands, lady.
let's see.
Well, dang.
Is this the Potwin residence?
Judy,
Oh yeah.
I think it's for you.
Are you Nathaniel Potwin?
Yes.
You're in
Agents
trouble.
Fredericks and Victoria from the EPA. You need to come with us, sir.
Wait, what?
It's an environmental issue.
What are you
Very
talking
serious.
We got a call from your son's
Nate,
school.
what is going on?
about? I have no idea.
Sir, did you or did you not say that, quote, the polar bears deserve to die?
No.
Think long and hard, Mr. Potwin. Did you or did you not
He's
say
got a
the
polar
bears
bear on the
deserve to
wall.
die?
Oh, look who's that. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Super funny. Okay. Did you get me a link for the new version?
Yep. I just sent you a link.
All right. Let me check it out.
I just sent you a link. So just for some background, we shot that at St. Mike's College, that Earth Day skit. We shot it in Williston at a house, at a single family home in Williston, and at St. Mike's College. And the premise is it was about Earth Day. Anyways, it's a silly bit, but it's also on YouTube. And it's Vermont cast and crew. We had a really fun time, and that was kind of the first generation of the Potwins. And now it's grown into something much bigger. And is it coming through, Erica? Did you get it?
Hold on. I'm not seeing it.
All right.
I just
Benjamin,
emailed it
you
to
know you're not muted, right?
Yeah.
That we can hear you.
Yeah.
Oh, there it is, Brad. I got it.
Okay.
I had silence for a while, trying to figure out what was going on there. I told you
I was
you
like,
guys.
where'd you go?
The government. I told you.
The government. It's know what? It
Yeah.
is the man trying to keep us from talking.
Trying to keep. So.
Okay, so Pat says,
So-
is that the one with the bake sale?
Oh, that was a different one. Yeah, we did a couple kind of prototypes. We did a kind of a proof of concept called Parents Night, which has the bake sale that Patricia is referencing. This is not that episode. What you're going to see right now is it's a sneak peek. It really hasn't been seen by people outside of Hollywood and some of our closest friends. So this is our internet debut of a portion of our quarantine episode, which is, if you play a minute of it, I don't know where you're going to start it. You haven't seen it, so
I haven't. I'm at
you could,
141. They're sitting in the kitchen, and Grandpa is looking very closely at a bowl. It's like,
yeah, if you want to start there, because that's got Kevin Sorbo, Barry Bostwick. The actress is Sarah Fisher. She's a Canadian actress. She's a huge deal in Canada. She was on a show called Degrassi. Wonderful.
Oh.
She plays the daughter, the social justice warrior daughter, and Lenny Britton's son Jonah plays Billy Potwin. And
Nice.
and he's really evolved into a wonderful actor. I mean, Jonah started doing Billy Potwin years ago. And he's really upped his game, and he does a great job and he's in scenes with Barry Bostwick and Kevin Sorbo, two incredibly accomplished actors, and the cast that we had surrounding those guys really stepped up, and it's a really fun, super fun, right of center kind of last man standing-ish type of comedy, and the marketplace needs a show like this, and so we're gonna find it a home, and I'm honored that you're going to play a part of it. So
cool. All right. And I'm actually showing my screen. We lost Benjamin again. I don't know what's going on with his situation. Honey, what is happening? Honey. Oh yeah, it's racist. We got a racist stream here.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So we're gonna watch this here.
All right. Oh yeah.
Police action. Cool.
This is the last one, right?
Yeah.
Affirmative.
Okay, let's do this.
Oh, hey, Andy, Donna. You collecting for the Christmas fund already? Coming in, I'll get my checkbook.
We can't enter your domicile, sir.
Sir, you were just here Tuesday night for our weekly poker game, and I believe you called me dickhead for taking all your money.
That was before I realized you were a public health threat.
A public health threat?
Sir, there's been an outbreak of measles in the community, and you or your family have been identified as potential contagioners.
A spreader.
What?
Look, according to your records, you were never vaccinated.
How did you get my health records?
On the plus side, your cholesterol levels are pretty damn good.
Thanks.
Look, sir, I'm going to have to place you and yours under quarantine.
What the hell does that mean?
Nobody comes and goes from this domicile until further notice.
No, I have to get to work. And Megan's got college, and Billy's got a presentation today.
Sorry, Nate, but you are officially quarantined.
Okay, what if I just ignored this order?
I stop you. You resist, I shoot you, etc.
You'd shoot me.
Well, at the very least, I'd tase you.
You'd tase me?
That's me a shot.
I'd mace you. And don't you think for 1 second that I wouldn't.
I believe you.
Yeah. So.
You know,
So
we probably shouldn't be laughing. I feel like we might not be that far off from this. In some
Well,
states,
you know,
certainly.
again,
Luckily, we're not Australia.
Well, kind of the point that you made earlier about some of the where's the line of reality, and these days it's so fluid. I mean, you don't know what's real and what's not. And so we had a lot of fun. But this episode is obviously we're making fun of kind of the whole quarantine and all the closures, and we're doing it, you know, in our own way. And anyway, there's a huge market, I think, for this type of entertainment, because right now it doesn't exist in the marketplace. It really doesn't. So we think we have something that's truly unique. The quality of the production is first rate. I'm really proud of it. All of us should be proud of it. Lenny Britton, the writer director, Lenore Broughton, who made this possible. I mean, it's just such a fun family show, and our goal is to get this first season sold, and then we're going to go and make season 2 and keep the Potwins in American living rooms for years to come. So that's the big goal. That's the big picture goal. That's the.
I'm claiming it right now. I want an extra role in one of these. I'm just
Done.
now. I'm calling it.
Yeah. No,
Can I be
listen,
one of the
we
crazy
had such a
people
great
or
time.
something?
Oh,
I want to be
absolutely.
one of the weirdos. Okay.
I'm sure Lenny will be agreeable to it.
Oh yes, Lenny, you're watching. Write me something.
Yeah.
Write me.
Yeah. No doubt. No doubt. So.
So what? Okay. So that's what's in the works. Is there anything else people should be on the lookout for? We're coming around. We're coming around the 90-minute mark. So I want to just let's share. Everybody share. You guys share with the viewers how they can follow you on social media. Where they can learn more about your projects if they want to participate, help, crowdfunding, or whatever you got going on. Give your 1-minute pitch to the viewers.
Well, I'm on Facebook and Twitter.
Sorry.
Do we
Nope,
lose your
you're
husband
good.
again?
Nope,
Okay,
no, that was my fault.
I got the whole screen here.
That was totally my fault. You're okay. So you're on Twitter.
I'm at Bradford Broyles for Facebook and Twitter. We've got a YouTube page for a lot of our material under News Done Right, which is a comedy show that we haven't even talked about on this episode. But we did shoot 150 episodes of Vermont centric comedy called News Done Right. That's on YouTube.
And it's on Blaze TV for anybody. That's actually, I saw your stuff before I met you because I have a subscription to Blaze TV, and I was like, oh, this is a funny comedy show.
Yeah.
And then we met at the Freedom thing, and then I was like, oh my God, wait, is this the same?
That's the guy. That's the same guy.
Oh my God. Okay, so anybody, if you have a Blaze TV subscription, go watch the News Done Right.
Yeah.
Okay, sorry for interrupting, Brad. Keep going.
Oh no, that's okay. So no, we did that. We did News Done Right on Blaze TV for 2019. We're no longer on Blaze TV. We ended that agreement. It was a huge process for us to produce an episode a week for Blaze TV. It was it had its challenges. I mean, we did it. We loved it. We did it for a year, and that was enough. And
But it's
and
also on YouTube.
It is on YouTube and everything, so people can find us online. You Google our stuff, but hopefully you're going to be seeing the Potwins on a network coming to your living room or laptop in the first half of this year is the goal. So find our stuff. We'll get it out there for you.
Excellent.
I promise.
Excellent,
Yeah.
excellent. So on Twitter, Brad Broyles. What about, did you say like Facebook and all that stuff?
Yeah, I'm on Facebook. I post a lot of stuff. That's mostly my personal stuff. We had a website under Right and Funny Productions, which was hacked by the Chinese. So, anyways, we had a beautiful website that was up that got dismantled a while back that we're in the process of rebuilding. We're actually going to rebrand under our production umbrella. We're going to go with Flyover TV, which is kind of a better moniker than what we were using before. We were Right and Funny Productions, which is fine, but we like Flyover TV better. So we're going to be unveiling a website and other intellectual property that's affiliated with Flyover TV, which will be our new production entity as we get it off the ground here with hopefully with the Potwins, to be honest with you.
So is this the next Blaze TV, the next Daily Wire, where you're going to be hosting like a ton of content and creators?
We've just ourselves, just one last plug here, one shameless plug for our production company, but we're really the only conservative leaning production house in the country that's been churning out comedy for a better part of 5 years now. We've created a lot of content. A lot of people don't like some of it. That's okay. But we to answer your question, we've created a lot, and it does need a home under one umbrella, and Flyover TV will be that home. But we do envision partnering with Benjamin, other people that are creative, fun, that have maybe the same kind of worldview, and the same thing that not different. Everybody's different, but along the same vein of what we're doing. We'd like to partner up with kind of conservative, entertaining, but but we're not into rant shows. I'm not going to be the guy that's going to be yelling at you. Yeah, so I mean, there's already a ton of those. So we want to be in a different lane than some of the conservative content that you see online, and we're scripted conservative humor is the lane that we're in, and we're going to drive that car to the golden land. So that's our plan.
Excellent.
Yay.
Excellent.
Yeah.
And how about you, Benjamin? How can people find you and follow you and see what you're doing? Oh, you're on mute, babe.
Oh.
Why can I not hear you?
Benjamin, come in, Benjamin. Oh, 1 second. Stand by.
Waiting. Ooh, Patricia said, will you ever do any documentaries? While Benjamin's figuring out his audio. I actually have 3 mini documentaries in the works. One is on Burlington Electric. The other is on the failures of Sarah George and her office. And and the other is, are you laughing at me right now? Or
yes, sorry, continue.
What? Yeah, how like it's basically going to be testimonials of all the people who have been harmed by repeat offenders. Yeah. So, and the other one is how the zoning, basically it's going to be focused on the zoning stupidity of Burlington. We're going to share with people what we've dealt with the last 3 years and how we lost at the Supreme Court. And the Supreme Court admitted that, oops, wait, why am I only on Benjamin? There we go. So we're going to share how the Supreme Court upheld an illegal ordinance in Burlington and got us to where we are. So, so doing some documentaries, again, shameless plugs. Anybody who wants to contribute to making these projects, holler at your girl. Yeah, for real. I really, again, it was good. See, I need the soundboard so I could make that go.
Got it.
On the button.
We'll work
right?
that out. We'll make that.
But in all sincerity.
Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now?
Yes, I can hear you.
Yes.
Okay. Good.
Okay, so now share with people where they can go find you.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm sorry. I had to switch whole systems. So I apologize, people on the internet. There's a lot going on here. It was a lot. I'm working hard for y'all. That's what I'm going to say. So you can find me on Facebook, Benjamin Nathaniel Reddick II. I'm easy to find. Nobody has that name. Reddick is spelled R-E-D-I-C.
Yep. On
Instagram, you can find me the same way, but I'm the Violence Conductor, or at the Violence Conductor, just like you see it on the screen down here at the bottom. So yeah, I'm pretty much only on there and Instagram. I don't really do much on Twitter as much. My company's Ballistic Blade Entertainment. We're also on Instagram and also Facebook. Politically, I do have some interesting things I post on Instagram under a darker perspective. I try to keep some of my world separate because I find that's probably a little bit beneficial. And like, to be honest with you, since my Facebook is mostly business, I try to keep it separate from my opinions on why, people are trash and the government can never be trusted as much as possible, but sometimes it's just not possible.
Yeah.
So totally unrelated. Brad, you said something about being hacked by the Chinese, and I felt a moment in my spirit, gave me some inspiration, and it said, "Must be doing something right. Just heard a Chinese spy rooting around inside my trash can, trying to peek and pry. Don't know what I did to go and deserve this." I just figured I'd throw a little country mix in there for you. You have Chinese haters. Success.
Is there a better way to end the show than that? Seriously.
I really don't think so. Oh, you know what? There is one better way to end the show, and it's going to be for the most ridiculousness, an epic production of culture or materials. We're going to end with our commercial for our book, because again,
I love your
promotion.
book. Let me. Can I shamelessly plug your book for a second? I saw that you released a book. I immediately went out and bought Reasons to Trust Your Government. It's a must read. That's all I'm going to say. I got it, and I was so blown away by it. Seriously, I'm a verified buyer on Amazon. Check it out. It's real.
Well, we are asking all verified buyers to leave a review on Amazon. Make it as ridiculous and over the top as you see fit. You are welcome to do that. Thank you, Brad. Thank you.
My pleasure.
All right, and thank you all for watching. Thank you for being part of the conversation and contributing your information. We love it when we get questions in the chat box because it helps us know, like, what do you guys want to hear? What are you guys curious about? And what do you want to know from our guests? So we love that. Thank you, Brad. Thank you, Benjamin, for being here this evening. And we'll see you guys soon.
Look forward to rounding up in person at some point soon.
Yeah.
This book will give you wings. Not like Icarus wings. Eagle wings.
What about dragon?
You'll have dragon blood. You'll be able to breathe fire.
Ultra dragon.
This book will make you smart. I'm not just talking. I'm talking Nikola Tesla. You'll be so good looking. Brad will be jealous.
Do you want any money? Elon Musk money.
That's a lot of money.
Elon Musk. But you're not Elon Musk. Elon Musk.
Because you pay taxes.
Elon Musk. You have the Elizabeth Warren. Elon Musk. Do you want freedom? All the freedom. One to America. How much freedom do you want?
America.
Double.